Hey guys, it's Amber,
It's Dan.
and this is Into the Shadows, episode 5.
Can't believe we're on to 5 episodes right now.
Eh,
I don't know. Like,
woo, I guess, I don't know.
It's like, I don't know. It's been 5 weeks.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it's gone really fast, actually.
Yeah.
It could go a little slower. That would be fine with me.
Yeah, summer's almost over already, I feel like.
Don't make me think about it.
It's
I'll
not even the beginning
cry.
of summer. The kids aren't even out of school yet. Yeah, Peyton's still in school. So, technically.
Well, this is your last week.
Today, last day, actually.
Today, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, just reminiscing of how school was. Remember, we were in school? Not together, obviously. But I just remember being in school. This was like the most exciting time.
I enjoyed high school, and I definitely was scared to leave high school to go to college. But I'm pretty sure I enjoyed college more than I did high school.
Do you know what I didn't enjoy, though? Living in a haunted house, which kind of brings us a little segue to what our episode is about today. Today we're going to be talking about some personal ghost stories for ourselves, stuff that we experienced or people in our immediate area.
Inner circle.
Family, whatever, it doesn't matter. So, I don't know. Do you want to start it off or want me to
You
start
can go ahead.
Oh, God, I didn't want to go first.
No, too bad.
Anyways, so, all right, I'm just going to start off with an oldie but goodie, maybe? Sure. So, when we first moved, that's probably in, I think, 5th or 6th grade. I think it was the end of 5th grade going into 6th grade. We moved into a house. It's only like a school district away. It was like, I went to Mifflin, which was in like the Shillington area. Then we moved to Exeter. So it's like literally like 10 minutes away. It's kind of where we live now. But you know, whatever, it doesn't matter. And at first I really liked the house. And then I think the first thing that ever happened to me is when I was home alone and I was downstairs and I remember hearing like a girl saying, help me, from upstairs. And I went upstairs, I checked, there's no TVs on, nothing like that. And I came back downstairs and I heard it again. And this time I was freaked out because I knew for a fact no one else was home. And yeah, I sat outside until my sister got home, and then she went inside, and of course she didn't believe me. But that was the first of many experiences.
So how old were you? About?
12. Let's just say, I think I'm about 12.
Okay. Because, I mean, that is a fair age to be left home alone. I know people have different opinions on that. But just getting into the ghost stories, I was thinking, like, how often were we left home alone as kids? Or, like, is that just something, like, because we were so into our own experience that we forgot that other people might have been home or, you know, nearby?
I was left home alone a lot as a kid. I was like 8, and I was left home alone. I remember my parents used to go out to like the mall and stuff, and it was always pretty exciting too. Because every time like they came home, they got me Mortal Kombat figures, which I was pretty excited about and stuff. But yeah, I was left home a lot. I would always play by myself in my room or whatever. So I guess it's whatever. I wasn't really an adventurous go out and leave the house kind of kid when I was a kid. As far as when my parents were gone, kind of thing. But
I feel like I wasn't left home alone a lot. I feel like my mom was usually there. Because a lot of times she worked the third shift, so she was there during the day, whether she was awake or not. But, I don't know. I think the only time I was really alone was when I was with friends, like at the friend's house.
yeah, that's kind of true, though, I feel like, too. Yeah, my dad worked third shift as well, so he might have been somewhere. He wasn't a little girl saying, help me, though. I would hope.
I could not see your dad doing that.
No, he would never. But he is the other person that kind of validated my experiences, though. So I'm going to let her go next, but my dad is very, very big into, he doesn't believe in ghosts. He believes in, like, demons and evil spirits, and I think I've told you some stories about his old house and stuff, which I'll get into in a little bit. But the first time he's ever told me about something that happened in our house, he said that he slept downstairs in the living room, and at like 2 or 3 in the morning, he woke up, and it was pitch black. And he's half asleep, whatever, waking up, and he could hear 2 children talking to each other in the room right next to where he was at. And kind of how the house was set up, the living room was here, and then you'd walk through to the dining room, and then you'd walk over to the kitchen, and it kind of made like a circle, you know what I mean? The big fireplace is directly in the center of the house, and you kind of walked around it. So there was a room like right in front of it. And he didn't realize it right away, obviously he's half asleep, and then he started realizing like, holy shit, these are not my kids talking to each other right now. And I've heard that exact thing quite a few times. But I'll get into that again, little stories later. But first, Amber can tell her one of her stories then.
Well, that's always creepier too when you're hearing voices because it's not, oh, it's, just the house, it's the pipes. When you're hearing a
No, yeah,
fucking voice that you know is not supposed to
Yep.
be there, get out, leave
What
right now.
What pissed me off about it too, though, is like the neighbor was very, very religious. His wife was like the pastor of the church down the street. But I said something to him the one time about it. I was like, "Hey, did the previous owners ever say anything?" And she's like, "No, not really." And she was crazy. So if anyone would have said it, I kind of want to go to like the house now and knock on the door. I think that'd be kind of weird, probably. Like,
Well-
hey, excuse me, sir, is your fucking house haunted? So I know it is. Is it?
Well, it's the same thing with my house. Because I've talked about, and again, since I'm going next, we'll get into it. But I've wanted to go back and ask them, be like, hey, would you be okay with us having a ghost hunt in this house?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even go for that.
I really have wanted to, but I've felt too shy and awkward to actually go
Yeah.
and do it.
Yep.
So probably won't happen. But so my house, when my parents first bought it before they had me, was just a single ranch home, has a basement. And then my dad and his buddies built the upstairs. I know my mom's had like one or two experiences in the house. Nothing was malicious. I don't believe we heard any creepy children talking of that nature.
That's unfortunate.
But when I was very little, so probably like 5 and under, I'm not sure how old I was when like it started to stop, but I would apparently say that I saw the black man everywhere, and I'm assuming because as a child I just simply meant the color like a shadow figure, but that was what he was called, and I would see him all the time, and my parents would be like, oh, well, where is he now? And I'd be like, oh, he's sitting on the couch, and they'd go to sit down in his spot and be like, oh, well, he's over there now. So it kind of sounds like I was just playing games. But then my brother, when he came along, he would also, I don't remember what they called his apparition, whatever you want to call it, but he called it something different, but he started seeing things. And we, like, even though when they tell the story of me seeing him around the house and it sounds like a joke, it's not like something they would bring up all the time and like talk about. So for my brother to also see things was a little freaky, hearing as an adult anyway, because I don't remember a whole lot from my childhood, to be honest. My memory is weird with different things, but I do know the one story I have is I was younger. My bedroom, it was like around the time when I was like first starting to sleep in my own bed. Well, I shouldn't say that. First time I really had my own room. It was put out in what became the dining room space later. So it's just a big open square and part of the downstairs. There's like no doors on it. It's just completely open. But there's 2 rows of windows, like big windows. And I'm laying there, can't fall asleep. And I probably am making myself a little anxious, a little nervous sitting there because I can't go to sleep. I still might have sleep disorder. Again, thanks for carrying me while you were working third shift, Mom. I don't really care that much, but anyway. It was perfectly like quiet, besides maybe some crickets, I don't know. But I just remember it was like all of a sudden, in a split second, there was a raging storm outside. There's lightning cracking, thunder rumbling. And even though the windows are shut, the curtains were like billowing and flowing out at me. And I freaked the heck out because that's not natural. that's not normal. Run into my parents, screaming and crying. And I'm like, I don't even know if I could speak or articulate. And I think I actually had seen like a ghostly figure in the curtains too. I think I just kept saying like ghost. And they walk out there, and obviously everything is
Of course.
perfectly normal. No storm. The lights work. Turn them off, turn them on.
How it always goes.
There's nothing there. And then I was told that I had to sleep there. So I probably stayed up for hours before I finally fell asleep of exhaustion. But that's like the earliest memory I have of something spooky happening in our house.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Is it?
Yeah, of course. It's very, very interesting.
Say what you want to say.
No, it's fine.
Say it.
You're just a little baby.
I am a baby.
You're just a little baby. You cried. No, honestly, I probably would have cried too, truthfully. I cried about fucking everything when I was a kid. Pretty much. Moving on.
Your turn.
Yeah, I guess. I'm just going to kind of rattle a few off. I kind of feel like I have a lot. So, I don't want to blame this in on, on anybody, but one of my parents would... I mean, it happened more often than I'd like to admit. One parent would kind of leave the other parent. The house seemed, I don't want to say the word sad, but I feel like whatever was in the house kind of picked up on the emotions of the house, and they would always act up. And it happened every single time. Again, it happened, for quite a few times, but whatever. I just remember a few times, me and my dad were down in the basement, and at this time, my sister had just given birth, so she had a baby, obviously, Connor. But we were playing guitar in the basement, and we heard like a baby screaming upstairs. Like it was like, yeah, like whatever babies sound like when they scream. Yeah. And my dad's like, oh, it's just Connor. And then we heard it again. We were playing guitar, and then we heard it again, so we stopped playing. We went upstairs. All the lights upstairs were off. They all left for dinner, so there was no one else in the house besides me and my dad. And
Fucking thank you.
So, and at that time, my dad had to take up a couple other jobs, and he worked third shift at, I think, Walmart. He got laid off from whatever job he was on at the time. And I remember two instances. The first one I remember is a lot of times in the morning, you probably remember this too. Like, you'd wake up and it'd be static on the screen. No, like, I always thought it was weird too, but some people told me that was normal. Like sometimes in the morning, like there wasn't a show that ran on that station or whatever, so it'd just be static, whatever. But I woke up and it was static. And then the dogs, I had all three dogs in my bed. I had two beagles and a cocker spaniel, and all three were sitting up staring at the closet, because in the front of the room, towards like the foot of my bed, like probably 10 feet away, there was two big glass doors, and they were open, which I usually kept them open, so that was the weird part. But I heard footsteps leaving the closet to the TV shut off, and then it walked slowly back. It wasn't like a quick run, it was a walk back, and the dogs just followed it with their heads the whole entire time. I couldn't see nothing. It did. That one was bad, but the next one was even worse.
Oh no.
So picture that same kind of thing again, but this time the dogs were staring at the door. Since we had an old house, it was very cold. The radiators didn't really work. My dad really didn't like to use the heat, the radiator heat, so he always ran a coal stove. So we always had the doors open for the heat to come up and go into the room, keep us warm, whatever. But the door was open, and the dogs looked up. I sat up out of my bed, and I could see it in the corner of my eye. There's a man standing in my doorway. I could only see his face and like half of his torso, and then it went like a foot, and then I could see his feet. I couldn't see anything in between. It's like it wasn't even there. And I remember I turned, and as soon as I looked at it, he kind of like stepped sideways into the hallway. I had a BB gun, so so I ran out in the hallway, flipped the lights on. There was no one there. No one there.
You take your BB gun with you?
Yeah, I thought someone fucking broke in. Because there was like, in my mind, there was no way that there was a fucking a ghost standing there.
Yeah.
It had to be a person. There's no other way in my mind at that time. And then I remember I called my dad, and I was crying like a goddamn baby. And I think at that time I was I was probably 15 or 16, so it wasn't like I was like a little kid or anything like that. But and this one here is going to kind of tie into what I'm about to say after I say this one. So in the basement, I always been kind of into music, so I always had a studio of sorts. But when I got really into music, we started remodeling the basement into like a 5-room studio. I know I want to brag. My parents were pretty cool with that kind of stuff. My dad was a guitar player, so he kind of understood. But whatever, it doesn't matter. But before that, it was just a bare basement, and I had a drum set under the sunroof. Sunroom, not sunroof. Sorry, the sunroom. It was like an octagon, half an octagon shape, and the drum set was back there. Whatever. I remember I was sitting down, I was tightening the bass pedal to the bass drum, and someone walked up. I could see the legs. They were skinny, little pale legs walking up, and I thought they were my brother, which was stupid because my brother was a pretty heavy kid at the time anyway. But they walked up, and I looked up to go say something, and not no one was standing there. And that's weird. It's very weird. But Peyton's mom, when me and her first started dating, we used to stay down in the basement. Like that was like our little apartment kind of thing. And I remember when we were breaking up, I left. I'm like, I'm tired of arguing about this. I'm leaving. So I left. And she called me crying. She said, because we didn't have doors in between the rooms, that we had blankets hanging down. There was like a space like this from the floor to the blanket. And she was crying. She said, a little boy walked up to the blanket and just stood there. She described the legs, the little skinny pale legs, just like the ones I've seen, years before. Walked up to the blanket. It stood there for like 2 or 3 seconds. It turned around and walked away.
Why do you have all these creepy children ghosts?
Here's a weird thing. Now, I have a theory, and let me tell you a few more, and then I'll give you my theory, and you can let me know what you think. Okay?
Okay.
All right, gotcha. Another good one was, I don't know how old I was at this time. It's probably before this stuff. It's definitely before this stuff, because after that, I think we moved a little bit. Maybe like a couple months later, we ended up moving out of that house. So before this, my brother had his friend Jeremy over, and we're gonna make an axe bomb and throw it in his room. You know what that is, right? You take an axe can, you take the top.
Yes.
Yeah. So we did that, and we were running downstairs. So we ran downstairs, and I saw something walk around the corner into the dining room. I was like, "Fuck! I'm not gonna chase Jeremy. I'm gonna follow him." So I ran around the corner, and there was no one there. So I walk into the kitchen, and I turn around, and it walks back into the living room again. So I follow it again. I'm like, what the I'm like, Jeremy, where are you? And he's in the sunroom behind the couch. He was sitting there the whole entire time behind this couch hiding from Logan. So whatever I saw wasn't him. Now, I've seen this thing quite a few times. I'll tell you. And I think, I really feel like a lot of it revolved around that same exact area. Because if you remember when I was talking about my dad's story, those kids were talking right there. When I was very young, well, not very, very young, but when we first moved in there, we had my cousin Desiree and Tyler stay over, and we used to sleep in a tent. We made a tent with a table that was sitting in the dining room, put blankets over, whatever.
Blanket fort,
yeah. And I heard old record playing. I was laying against the floor of the pillow, and I could hear a record playing directly underneath in the basement. And I went downstairs. At that point, my brother lived in that room at that time. Pitch black, dead quiet. Yeah, so I feel like, and then when I finally got the room down there, I used to hear crying all the time. I got a kid crying right above. It was literally, because we had the bed was against the wall here, and then right above us, that was the dining room, and it wasn't like a insulated, it wasn't a drop ceiling, it was just the beams and then the floor. So it had a big metal grate that'd be in there for heat, whatever, to go through it or whatever. And I could hear it all the time. And I remember getting real pissed off. I'm like, dude, I'm trying to fucking sleep. And so I got up, I went upstairs, and the second I flipped on the light switch to the kitchen, it walked right around the corner again into the dining room. And my brother said he's seen a sign, and I don't know if I believe it or not. I don't know, but he said he's seen a boy, and he was wearing like Great Depression-ish kind of era, like raggedy clothing, stuff like that. And I don't know, it was very detailed. I'd never seen a boy besides his legs. I never saw anything he was wearing. I just seen the legs. That was it. And the only time only time I ever heard a woman was one time, and that was again right before we moved out. It sounded like a humming, and my ex was like, "That's the same noise that the same tune that my jewelry box plays," and you could hear her humming it right above us. It was weird. So here's my theory. My theory is that maybe something similar happened to that family because I never really seen or heard a woman. It was always just the kids and the father. So maybe the mother died before them, or the mother left, or whatever. I just maybe it was a very similar situation, and then that's why it acted up so much, possibly.
What do you mean? Similar situation to who?
Me, I told you when I didn't want to get into details of what happened, but when my one parent left the other parent, that's when the activity would start kicking up a lot. Like all the sadness in the house, I figured maybe that attracted.
Oh, you're thinking that the family went through like a divorce or something, and
something similar, maybe. And they're I don't know, because they never seemed. How do I want to put it? Like vicious or scary towards me. Like the way the guy was looking at me, and maybe he was watching me, like checking in on me, kind of thing. He didn't seem. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So, and then the one time, this is the last one I have for this house. I have other stories, but for this house, this is the last one I have. Again, this is right before we moved. I had my buddy Matt over, and my ex had her friend over too, and we were playing like hide and seek. We're running around the neighborhood and stuff, whatever. And we got to the top of the steps that led down to the basement, and we heard a giggling downstairs. So we ran downstairs. And Matt's like, "Yeah, I know you guys are down here. We heard you." And then they walked in the back door immediately right after that. And Matt looked at me. He's like, "There's no fucking way." I'm just like, there it is. You get to hear it.
Horror movies have forever ruined giggling for me. Because it could be a happy spirit. Could be a child just having fun, and I could play games with it, But
Oof, I don't do that. That's for sure.
horror movies have ruined it for me. I would get too freaked out.
It is like I feel like I haven't had experiences like that since that house. I've had experience, but nothing to the magnitude of that. Like it was very very like it's like stuff you would make horror movies out of, kind of. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Let's see.
Got some juicy ones.
Not juicy like yours. Not really.
It's unfortunate.
Fortunately, my dreams are the worst things I've had. I don't remember how old the house I grew up in is, like if it's an 1800s house, the original, or if it's 1900s or whatnot. But I do know on the rare occasion that I was left home alone, we always had dogs. We had Dobermans. Sorry.
That was a fridge making that noise, but
yeah, I don't know if they would have heard that noise, but I was not expecting that. Sorry. Anyway, I usually be sitting in the living room or in the dining room, probably working on homework, because I would come home and nap and then get up, eat dinner, and then homework before bed. And I just remember a few times, like I know the Dobermans a lot would sit and stare and look at a corner. Like that was just a thing that they did. But the one night when we had Trigger, our boy, Doberman, come to think of it, I don't know where Keely was, because we would have had them at the same time.
I don't know.
I just remember Trigger being there. He was still a young dog. When my parents divorced, we ended up rehoming him. So I want to say he was probably only a year old-ish. But home alone, it's dark outside. I probably have the kitchen light on, in addition to the dining room light, just, make me more comfortable. Mm-hmm. I'm minding my own business, and I noticed that Trigger gets up, but he doesn't walk away. So I look at him. All of his fur is standing up on his neck.
Yep.
and he's staring into the kitchen. And I'm like, Trigger, hello? He's not budging. He's not looking at me. He's staring into the kitchen with his hair up. So now I'm freaked out, and I'm looking at the kitchen. I'm trying to see if I can see anything, you know, or listen. I'm like, is someone breaking into the house? What is going on here? And then I freaking jump out of my skin because he starts barking like crazy and running like he's going to go into the kitchen and attack something. And I said, oh, hell no. I tried to grab him by the collar and drag him into the living room or go upstairs. I was so freaked out because he was not a dog who got spooked like that.
Yeah.
That was the only time he ever did that.
Weird.
Yeah.
Dogs know that. Animals in general know that shit.
Yeah. So the basement, when I was younger, when you would go down the steps to the left, it was an unfinished basement. We had a little step up thing where the washer and dryer were. If you went to the right, it kind of went in a circle. Well, I mean, it was a square, but you know what I mean, went around. It was just kind of a lot of storage. And then there was this little room that was in the back. And that was, I think, originally my playroom. Most of the time, I was fine in there.
It's unfinished? Mm-hmm. Oh, God, you had a playroom in like a dungeon basement? That's scary.
Like cement floor.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
Most of the time, I was fine in there, playing with my Barbies, playing with my disco ball, whatever it was at the time.
Stop hitting the thing. It's going to vibrate into the mic.
Sorry. Every once in a while, I would just get like a chill or something, and I would not feel comfortable down there anymore, and I would feel like I need to leave right now. And I would get up, and I would just walk up the steps. I would not go down the rest of the day. I probably wouldn't go down for like a couple of days.
There's a clown down there for sure.
I don't know. It's just, like I said, sometimes it was fine, and sometimes it just felt off, and I did not want to be down there. And then as I got older, it was no longer my playroom, and my dad made it into like his gun room, and he would make ammo and stuff down there. So I didn't really go down there a whole lot, which again didn't bother me at that point. But with the addition that they put on the house, you go up the steps. To the right, we had my bedroom, my brother's room, and then our shared bathroom. And then if you went to the left, it was my parents' bedroom, their closet, like mini walk-in closet, and their bathroom. And their bathroom was bigger than ours. Ours was a full bathroom, but it was still only like, you know, you walk in, sink, toilet, shower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know why, but I would get like so uneasy in me and my brother's bathroom. Like it wasn't like it was creepy bathroom. It was like a standard bathroom, white walls. We had this funky shower curtain that had a whole bunch of different like rainforest frogs. They like all different patterns and stuff. Mm-hmm. My mom had painted a frog on the wall. I don't know. I'd be in there and I would just get so worried that the lights were going to go off and that the door was going to shut and I'd be locked in there.
So you freaked yourself out, but it never happened?
Well, so I did have my mom, one of my mom's good friends growing up was, she became my babysitter. She has 3 kids, but at the time, the one was like a teenager and would be like staying at her dad's or something a lot. So it was just the 2 other kids. And the one is only like a couple months older than me. And then the other one was like a year or 2 older than the both of us. Mm-hmm. And the older sister would always be pranking and, what's the word? I can't word right now. Just getting joy out of, bullying us, basically. Mm-hmm. but sometimes she would get her younger sister to help torture me. So they have locked me in their attic, which was creepy, and told me that Chucky was up there and that he was going to get me. And I, didn't believe that Chucky was up there because why would Chucky be in their house? But, the more I thought about it, the more I freaked myself out. And so that kind of stuff happened a lot that I'm sure some of my unease in my own house was me thinking about those situations. But at the same time, it's my house. I'm comfortable in there, And they were like never at my house that they did it to me there. It was only when I was at their house. So, I don't know, but that translated then. I would always have dreams of that happening, but it was always like a creepy girl, evil spirit, kind of like the Grudge type thing. It was like they were in the bathroom and they would wait for me to come in the bathroom and the door would always shut and I could never get it open and I'm freaking out and screaming and yelling and I would get so angry and just be yelling at the spirit to leave me alone. Same thing, I would dream about the same thing but like in my bedroom. Or I would dream about people breaking into our house. But like whenever I dream about the house I grew up in, it's only those two things. Evil girl ghost or the house being broken into and me not really being able to do anything about it.
Interesting.
And my brother has said, we brought this up like a year or two ago. We didn't know this, but we were talking probably around you, talking about ghost stories or whatever. Or I recently had a dream about the house and he was like, "You're shitting me, right?" I'm like, "No, why?" He's like, "Because I only ever dream about the house being broken into or like creepy stuff with that house." So he has the same kind of experience. His dreams might be a little bit different, but he dreams about the same stuff. And meanwhile, the whole house being broken into, my dad has said that there was one time that someone had tried to break into the house, but only once. And we had no idea about it.
Weird.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, nothing crazy really happened. I also used to be creeped out about my closet. I had a lot of shit in my closet. But it was always just mostly uneasy feelings. And I would just either, go into a different room or hug my animal. But I got lucky that it wasn't anything too crazy. That the same friends who would torture me decided we were going to play Ouija board.
Yeah, stupid idea.
Well, we were just kids. We didn't know anything. Could have sworn. I mean, I thought the whole time we were playing that they were just messing around and like pushing it. I didn't like believe it.
Yeah.
But at one point, one of us asked, like, if you're there, make the sun in the corner, like the sun and moon symbol, like make it wink, or maybe it was just show us a sign or something. But I remember the sun on the board freaking winked, and then there was a noise on the front porch, and it wasn't like mail time or anything. They started screaming. I started screaming. We jumped up, left the board there, and ran into the kitchen because that was like the next room. We just got up and went straight into the other room. We said, "We're done with that." And then they wanted to play again another time. I was like, "Absolutely not. I'm not doing that."
Interesting.
I'm boring. I'm sorry.
You're fine. Ouija board is definitely not the thing to mess around with in the slightest.
No, I would not play with a Ouija board at this day and age.
Before we go, I do have a Ouija board story, though. I think I've told you about this one already.
Probably.
Probably quite a few times. All right, so my friend Dave used to live with his friend Tyler. I probably don't know if I should be saying everyone's name. I don't think it makes a difference. It doesn't matter. You don't know these people anyways. But basically, Tyler lived with his mom, and Tyler's mom's boyfriend died. He died in a car accident. So her being, this is sad, but her being lonely would try contacting him on the Ouija board. Now, they did it a lot, like a lot. And I used to like playing the Ouija board back in the day. And we went over, me and Dave and Tyler and a few other people were there, along with Tyler's mom. We're playing the Ouija board. And the first thing I remember when we first started playing was all the cats. They had like 5 of them. Were all just standing and staring at the ceiling. And they just sit there and they move their head around. And they look at the ceiling. First bad sign, probably. But back in the day, I had really, really long hair, like middle of my back, long, straight black hair. And when we first started playing it, I remember it lifted up probably about this much in front of literally everybody in the room saw it happen. And then we started talking to, Tyler's mom's boyfriend.
You continued to play after it lifted your hair up?
We were all impressed it was doing what it was doing. Anyways.
I would have been like, I'm fucking done. No fucking thank you.
We were 14. We're probably drunk, if I had to guess. I know. We were shitty 14-year-olds, but whatever. And that night, I was taking a shower and I got slapped in the back. And
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. I was in bed. I was trying to sleep. And I remember Dave and everyone was still downstairs, but I went upstairs. I was like, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. And I remember the bed started shaking back and forth like, we're not done. So those are all pretty scary experiences. This one that I'm going to say next, it wasn't on the same night. It was probably like one of the weekends around that time when we did it. So we decided, oh, what a great idea. Let's go to where her boyfriend died at and play. So we were in Hamburg. We're in the back roads. And I remember there's a main road that went through, and then off to the side where we were sitting at, it was a dirt road. We probably went out like 1 or 2 in the morning. So it was like almost fucking no one out there.
I remember this story.
Yeah. And then we sat down in the middle of the road like idiots on the dirt road part, not the main road. And we got the board out. Me and Dave sat down. We started playing. And immediately, the second we stuck our hands on it, it started spelling, get out. Get out. Get out. It did 3 times. And after the 3rd time, me and Dave were like, fuck it, I should probably get up. The second we got off that dirt road, a car came right around the corner where we were sitting at. So if we were sitting there, and it would have fucking hit us. So I would say no to the Ouija board, but thank you, Ouija board ghost, for saving our life. Because I would not be here right now because that car was fucking flying. It would have plowed right into us.
How often do you hear stories like that? Like, that's...
You don't. And I hate using the Ouija board because of how, like I said, I had negative experiences, obviously, too. Do we have time for one more? This one's a bit far. I wanted to save this one. I'm already talking about it, so I feel like I want to talk. It's in the whole Dave circle. So Dave lived in Hamburg. Tyler lived in Hamburg too, but it was on the outskirts of Hamburg. But anyways, we're at Dave's house, and he lived in the attic, unfinished, wood plank floor, no insulation, hot as shit during the summertime. Just that's gonna come into play later, so just remember that part. So the one night we were playing the Ouija board, and then we were done. Nothing happened. Whatever. We started going to bed. There's a bed on one side of the room and a bed on the other side. They're kind of like at the, here's the roof. The beds were here. Bed was here. And then the floor is like in the middle. Anyways. And I was laying there and I'm like, dude, look at this green light that's on this blanket. So, of course, they're making fun of me. Oh, the green light's probably from the outside. So you put your hand and you cover it. And instead of the light being on top of your hand, if the light was shining, you covered the light, you lift it up, you could still see it. So it was something on the blanket. So they started coming over. All 3 of us are sitting on this bed, the blanket's right in front of us, and it starts moving. It starts moving around the blanket, and we're getting kind of freaked out. So it's happening probably for like a good 30 seconds. It kept on moving around. I'm like, fuck this. I grabbed the lamp, and the second I lifted the lamp up to the bed, light bulb blows out.
Oh. I thought you were going to say the green light went away.
No. The light bulb blew out.
Oh.
We were sitting there in total darkness again, and that light that was on the blanket is nowhere to be found. So we're sitting there for a few seconds, and all of a sudden, that light is on the top of my arm.
Oh.
And I freak out. I'm going to show you here. It goes up and then spreads over. It looked like someone laid their hand right on top of mine. Almost like you're looking at an x-ray picture. Like you see your bone underneath, that is what it looked like. We freaked.
He was trying your meat suit on.
I don't know about my meat suit. I don't know about my meat suit.
Your body is a meat suit.
I know I'm a meat suit, but I don't think he was trying my meat suit on. But we freaked out.
I don't know.
And then we went downstairs and we grabbed Dave's dad. And this is the part where it comes into play. When we came upstairs, that fucking attic was freezing. And he's like, man, Dave, it's really cold up here. It's like, you guys should probably stay downstairs. Yeah, because we played the Ouija board all the time. After almost getting hit by a car, that was the last time I played. I used to play it all through my childhood and everything. And I almost wonder, like, the amount I played the Ouija board, did that leave me susceptible for all the stuff that I experienced my whole entire life? I don't know. I feel like when I tell people a lot of stories of, like, the things I've seen, it's just kind of like, no, not a lot of people really ever experience these kind of things.
Or they don't have that many stories. Like, they might have one or two, but not a whole bunch of them like you do.
Yeah. I mean, truthfully, like, now, like, minus, like, some stuff when we go to haunt it, like, we went to Penhurst, we see, like, one thing, or we go here and see, like, maybe something. Like, when I was in the house in Exeter, I seen stuff all the time and heard stuff all the time. That house was, like, it was almost, I wouldn't say it was constant, but it was at least, like, once a week something was happening that's notable. And I feel like since we moved out of that, it's been a lot less. I think the only thing that I've seen really since this is probably my parents' house when they moved to Shillington again. It was on Franklin Street. I heard Bell after Bell died. Yeah, I heard her little sneeze. Yeah, which was really sad. I cried like a little baby after I heard it. But I think that was the only thing I can really remember. Honestly, that's like the last like big thing that I remember. I mean, nothing like the crazy shit I had when I was a kid or a teenager. But I don't know. I think it's gonna happen again. Then we go ghost hunting some more. I just think you need the right spot. I think that's what it is. I think you need the right spot. And they need to trust you enough to show themselves. I feel like I think that's what it is.
I think it's also kind of like your mindset, like your openness to it as well.
Yeah.
Because with my stories, like I always said, like how I felt uneasy. Like I had a very specific feeling when that stuff would happen. And I just remember, like I couldn't tell you what age, what time. I just remember there was a point in my life where I was like, I am tired of being afraid. And so I started blocking stuff out.
Yeah.
So, and like, I don't think I've felt that same feeling. Like there's an entity or something off there in years, like since I've done that.
Yeah.
And I did want to circle back because I was saying how I wanted to do a ghost hunt in the house I grew up in. After what I've said, it probably doesn't seem that reasonable to some people. But, so my parents divorced. They eventually sold the house. And a family had moved in. I know they at least had one little boy. I want to say they have another child or two, but I'm not certain. Mm-hmm. But my mom was told from the realtor, because my mom's friends with her, she was like, you will not believe what that family told me. Or no, she asked my mother, anything weird happened in the house?
Oh, yeah.
When we lived there.
That's fun, yeah.
And my mom was like, why? Why are you asking? She was like, well, you're not going to believe this. They're saying that their little boy is acting just a little strange. Nothing real freaky. But he would go in the basement. I don't know if they had his playroom down there or whatnot.
I highly doubt that, but yeah, continue.
And he would be taking black pencil, black crayon, and drawing big ass motherfucking circles on his paper like a fucking horror movie.
Like The Ring. That's what he did in The Ring. You copying The Ring? Are they copying The Ring?
I don't know. Apparently,
is The Ring based off of him?
They're I don't know if they're a religious family or whatever, but they were absolutely beyond freaked out at the fact, according to this realtor, that their child was doing that. And I want to say there was something he said too. I have to get my mom.
Yeah.
I have to ask her for the full story, but I'm pretty sure the kid said something else too. And that's why the realtor was asking, because she was so freaked out that that kid was acting that way. And I was like, well, if another child is having experiences like we did,
It's probably plausible.
probably haunted.
And I also feel like, because like the people that lived there before me and people lived there after me, well, I didn't see about the people after, but before, haven't had any experience. I feel like, again, it depends. I feel like there is people that are more of an open book, an open door, maybe rather, for them to walk in kind of thing than other people. Maybe some people will never have, like my parents. My dad has seen stuff. My mom claims she hasn't. My sister claims she hadn't. My brother did, I did, and my dad did. So some people, I guess, maybe are just more in tune with it.
I think there's been a few times where my dad was like freaked out by something, but I don't know that he would actually like chalk it up to being a ghost or something. He's a little bit more realistic.
Pulled that 12 gauge out, probably.
However, I think I might want to see if we can get my mom on this podcast to talk about her stories from the house where she grew up in. Because she constantly dreamed about demons and the devil and has more ghost stories and things happen to her than I did. So I think it'd be...
For another episode, yes.
Yeah, interesting to hear what she has to say.
We are going ghost hunting, by the way. It isn't going to happen. I did get the stuff I need for the camera that we need to go ghost hunting for our sweet night vision stuff. But we do need, I guess you need a camera or a headlamp of some sort. If we go separately, whatever.
Something.
Whatever. But that'll be that. I guess this for now. This will be that is.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess so. Hey.
See you later.
5. See ya. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. We're going to be having more horror content coming out. We are just kind of getting used to this whole podcast thing. So our episodes we're trying to figure it out a little bit. Trying to see what content we want to go with. And we'll be making a video game sometime soon, too. A horror survival video game.
Hopefully.
Yeah, it's going to happen, even if I have to do it myself. But it's going to happen. More spooky stuff to come. We are going to concentrate on the spookiness on this channel. Our van camping videos and stuff will probably be on a different channel. This is going to be focused strictly on horror. You're supposed to maybe come in with something else. Anyway, it doesn't matter. All right, guys. See you later.